Welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Ben Irwin, and we are approaching one of the most sacred of holidays, Valentine's Day. But for the sake of time, I will simply refer to it as VD. Who was St. Valentine? When did it start? What does it have to do with religion? And what's up with the creepy-ass baby shooting arrows into everyone? Because that's assault. All these questions and more will be answered right now. Ah, yes. Red roses, boxes of chocolates, whispering sweet nothings. A day of love for snuggling up with your bank buddy. Truth be told, I'm single this VD, so I have to ask, what is there for us atheists to do on this day of romance? Because as it turns out, before the Hallmark Corporation jumped on the bandwagon, VD was already woven deep into the Catholic Church's history. So of course, in this very special episode, I will fail to keep it classy as we take a super sexy look at the history and myths of VD. So here's what we know. There were at least 3 dudes named St. Valentine recorded throughout history. According to Catholic records, all 3 were martyred. We also know that it was originally a pagan holiday that Christians hijacked, as Pope Gelasius declared February 14th an official church holiday right around the year 498. Beyond this, the exact origins of Valentine's Day are unclear. But as one legend goes, St. Valentine was a priest who in 3rd century Rome defied the emperor's orders that soldiers were not to be wed, so his young single boys made better soldiers. So he would marry young couples in secret until his dastardly deeds of lust were discovered and he was put to death. Aw, how sweet. As another more prominent legend goes, St. Valentine was actually a guy who was imprisoned and put to death for helping Christians escape harsh Roman butt-pounding prisons. This poor fellow was visited by a very young girl, could have been the jailer's daughter, and fell in love with her. Right before his death, he wrote a letter and signed it, "From your Valentine." Oh, it's the first Valentine. But the most entertaining of the Valentine's Day lore comes from ancient Rome before it was declared a church holiday. Check it out. Every February 15th, the object of the game would be to promote fertility. First, the festivities would commence with the sacrifice of a dog and 2 goats. Then Roman men would line up and have the blood from the sacrifice smeared on their face and then washed away with wool soaked in milk. Let me pause for a moment and let that mental image sink in. But wait, we have footage. Oh, we don't? Damn. So then the men would rip out the guts of the dead goats and run through the street and slap the women with them. Now, while slapping my lady with goat innards gets me hot and bothered as much as the next fella, the Pope saw the need to ban the sacrifice and move the holiday back a day, and it became what we know it as today. Then, of course, for those of you out there who like a little more slap, a little less tickle with your VD tales, there was also the St. Valentine's Day Massacre in Chicago, 1929. I mean, it really has nothing to do with the holiday itself. I was just throwing it out there because it's the most prolific event in mafia violence history, and it took place on VD. You see, Al Capone had his men shoot up a warehouse full of Moran's men as they sought to gain an upper hand in the beer and whiskey smuggling business. Because apparently there's no love on VD in Chicago during Prohibition. I mean, why you gotta bring guns into this? The whips and the pink handcuffs would have been just fine. Then, with the 3rd St. Valentine, he swooned a lady by healing her blindness, and yada yada yada, who cares? So, here's what makes the most sense to me. Let me grab the iPad here, and let me draw you a little visual representation. Alright, where do many Catholics live? Up here. You have some down here, too. But what do each of these areas have in common during the month of February? Well, it's pretty damn cold. I mean, it could get downright nipply. So, I wholeheartedly agree that it's better to get some winter lovin' than walking around with hard nipples all day. I mean, you know, that's probably what Cupid was really doing. He wasn't shooting arrows. He was nipples. And after all that, you wonder why a guy like me is still single. So catch new episodes every Sunday right here at the BenIrwinShow.com. I'm also on Twitter at Benjamin Irwin. Until then, I hope you've learned a lot, and may all your freaky deaky VD dreams come true.